To create a summary report, go to the Reports area, click on New Report, and choose the report type you want to use. But which report type should we choose? We should ask, what do I want to report on? Which records will I need for this? Where are those records kept? It can help to describe your report in a sentence. I want to see a report showing clients with open timelines arranged by project. Putting it this way tells us that to get the information we want, we will need to include records from those areas. Client records, timeline records, and project records. So we need a report type that includes this information. To find the right report type, we start typing one of the things that we want to see into the Finder. If we start typing client, we get these report types to choose from. But which one do we choose? Our choice depends on the information we want and how we want to use it. This is a picture of information from a completed report. Client records provide the first and last name of the client, as well as the gender and ethnic origin. They can also provide us with current age and other specific demographic information. Timeline records provide us with the start and end date for the timeline, as well as a status showing if the timeline is open or closed. The project records allow us to group all these records by the projects they are related to. So we need to pick the report type that best suits our needs. For our example report, showing clients with open timelines arranged by project, we will choose the report type that features all three types of records we need. So we will choose Projects with Timeline Events and Client. This will allow us to use the information in the client and timeline records and to group that information by project. Click Create in the bottom right. When our report opens, there are a few things we need to do before doing anything else. In the top left, click Save and give the report an appropriate name. We can save in the Unfiled Public Reports folder if other people need to access it, or we can save it in another relevant report folder, or our personal folder if no one else needs to see it. In the Filters area, click on Show and set it to show all. In the Date area, to see all the information, set it to Created Date and set the range to All Time. In the Preview area, it will show information you may not want, so click on Remove All Columns. Ensure the format is set to tabular. To build our report, we need to add the fields of information we want to report on. To do this, we start to type what we want to see in the Fields Finder window here. If we type Client, we can then choose the client first name, and we should choose this field from the client folder, as this is the primary source of information on clients. Double-click on it to include it in the report, and it will appear in the preview area. We can repeat this process for client last name, for gender, and for ethnic origin. To find the timeline fields we want to include in our report, we type Start for the start date of the timeline, End for the end date, and Status for the timeline status. As before, we should choose these fields from the Timeline folder, which is the primary source of information about timelines. Lastly, let's type Project and select Project Name from the Project folder, which is the primary source of information on projects. To create our report of clients with open timelines arranged by project, we need to filter our information. At the moment, the information isn't arranged by project, and it shows records that are open and closed. We want to show only open timelines, and we want them arranged by project. First, let's add a filter to show only open timelines. To do this, we simply drag and drop the status field into this area here. Then we set the status of our records to equal open. Our report will now only show clients with open timelines. Next, we want to arrange these records, or summarize them, by project. To do this, we need to change the format of the report. Click here in the preview area, and from the drop-down menu, change it from tabular to summary. A light blue row will appear, and like the filter we just created, we drag and drop the field we want to summarize by into this area. If we drag project name into the light blue row, this will group all the records by project name. Then save, and then we can run our report. Once you have run your report, you can see all the records summarized by project. We may want to customize it further. We can adjust the time period by changing the date fields. We can hide details or show them. We can click on Customize to return to the report builder. We can also select a printable view to copy and paste the information into a new document. And we can export it as either a CSV or an Excel file.